Hey guys, this is Rob. Going to do a VOD review for my man RaynorWilky here, who is doing support VOD review. This particular match we're going to be covering is not going to be the 56 minutes of the totality of this game match that we play as a custom game, but will just be the first match for you, Raynor, okay? And in the first match, you will be playing Moira Zen Lucio with a primary focus on... I'm sorry, not Mercy, Zen. You will be playing Zen Lucio. So starting out on the Zen, moving to Lucio later on. So let's get into it. First thing, before we even start, is understanding your kit. So you have, basically, you have 5 abilities on Zen. 6 if you count positioning. Okay, so 5 abilities. Discord, Harmony are your 2 orbs, your bread and butter. Then you have Primary Fire, Destruction Orbs, and you have your Destruction Orbs Volley, and then you have Transcendence. So of these 5 things, the most important thing is uptime. And what I can probably do here is I have a coach that I had coaching me in my DMs send me a priority list of what he said was the list of things that you should be focusing on. So here's what they are. From you have 4 goals playing Zenyatta. You need to get a discord value, which means targets need to be discorded that you shoot. You need to use the discord as soon as possible, and you need to shoot what's discorded. Second, you need to deal damage. If you're not dealing damage during a fight, you're not playing Zenyatta. And that's your second priority. Okay, your third priority is winning fights with an ultimate. So if you are not winning a fight with an ultimate, then the ultimate is no longer of use. So that means that when you're using Transcendence, you're using it in order to trade your ultimate in order to gain some significant form of advantage. If that makes sense. Like, this is the things that I am basically parroting what he told me I struggle with, okay? Now, I can give you an additional resource if you'd like to. This is not my podcast. This is one from Prepare to Attack. You can also check out the one that we did with Roshan Spy as a secondary evaluation for learning Zenyatta. Zenyatta right now is actually my best hero, even considering how bad I am in Platinum League, so what it's worth. Number 4 is making sure that Harmony Orb is healing someone or is enabling someone in a team fight. That means, like, enabling means that you can have a little bit more of a reckless tracer or a reckless soldier position by virtue of having a Harmony Orb on him or a high ground position and having some more sustaining power if they're in your LOS or your line of sight. But generally speaking, Harmony Orb should be healing something, and it should be out. This is something you're going to be struggling with as we get into the VOD here. So you need to make sure that the orb is on something always. Harmony is just on there. This is your 4th priority. So remember, when you're doing anything outside of your Transcendence, there should be a Discord and a Harmony out, and you should be dealing damage in some way. Those are your 4 things, which means you need to have uptime on your orbs, and you need to deal damage with your other orbs, okay? We'll get into the other stuff as we get into the video here. I want to make sure we play.
And you will.
If we do that, yeah, we could do a Risa and Torbjorn in the back.
I was gonna set up on the high ground.
Yeah, if you just do the back left corner with Arisa, then it's pretty OP.
I think I'm gonna go Mercy for defense.
Yeah, I think that's good. She's good on this map.
What do we want for our last DPS?
McCree's fine.
Yeah, like a hit scan in case they pull out a Pharah.
I mean,
All your logic here is fine.
I have auto aim.
We might actually, you might play a flanker, so that.
All right, I've already watched this video before. There's a significant portion where this team doesn't really know how to play with Outcast on his Torbjorn because they've never really played together before in this pre-made. So we're just going to call it a wash on this first fight and focus purely on your position, because what happens in this first stages of the game is you guys are disorganized and talking, and it's chaos trying to figure out what actually needs to be happening. Even while the teams are coming out of spawn here, you'll see this in a second.
Hold on.
Yeah, put your turret right here. Put your turret right here. No. Put it right here. So you can just have the cone so that you're completely covered.
What do you mean?
Put the turret right where I'm at.
First of all, if you guys are fearful of Pharah being positioned here on Zenyatta is fine, but you need to be positioning with your Mercy and be willing to move around with some sort of engagement tool to help you out, and you need to be playing tightly on these corners and not in front of the barriers. So let's see if you do that.
This so that it's just
Gotta
like
be
right
barely
here,
peeking
and then
out
he's
of the
putting the
corner.
shield right there.
Okay.
Okay,
You're
they're
all in the
probably
way.
here. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Right
That's great.
side
That's
top.
great.
So what I mean,
Top
this
right.
is like 30 seconds in the game, and we're still trying to decide where we need to be.
Okay,
Alright.
break their
There's
shield.
shields, yeah.
Okay.
Backing out.
Good. Breaking the shields. You're positioned by this corner here. Okay, and not by the what's it called? How do I say this? You're not positioning anywhere by the shield. See, now you're behind the shield.
Nice.
And then you put yourself in extremely risky positions against a Hanzo. You're asking to be punished. Alright, so first and foremost, this is the first time where both orbs are out is around, 320. It took you a full 40 seconds before somebody's discorded. Sorry, I'm pointing at the wrong stuff. Before somebody is discorded and somebody is on Harmony. Now, this Harmony target's fine because they're getting healed. This target is fine, but look what's happening. Your crosshairs are here. Your Discord target is here. If this is not what you're shooting, this needs to be over here. Otherwise, it's moot.
Orb on their diva.
They're coming on to behind. They're coming. They have a
Orb on the
jump
diva.
back
Orb on the
behind.
diva.
Got
Focusing
Diva.
She's on mech, and she's down. Good
Now
job.
we're actually fighting.
Oh, they're coming in behind us.
Go after that.
I'll just put a level
for
1
the
down.
Going after Zen. I have heal.
Right behind you is Hanzo. He's really low. Right behind you.
Yeah, right behind, right behind.
Okay. There was a call out. Let's see. This is 254. When was the call out that they are coming behind you?
Orb on their diva. Orb on their diva.
They're coming on to behind. They're coming. They have a
Orb
jump
on the
back.
diva.
Okay, so here's the call. They're coming in the bottom. You see the divas actually going in here.
Orb on the diva.
Got
Focusing
Diva.
She's on
That
mech,
guy just was discorded, and he's probably going to be coming in.
and she's down. Good job.
Oh, they're coming in behind us.
Here's the call. Torbjorn is making the call. What happens?
Go after that.
I'll just put a level 1
Going
down.
after Zen. I have heal.
Your team bails.
Right behind you is Hanzo. He's really low. Right behind you.
Yeah, right behind, right behind.
get down here.
So you had 13 to 14 full seconds to move. And you didn't even need to be here at all because this is the all target. You could have gone in this whole area and held here because you haven't killed anything. They've killed your turret. So you should just move over here. Even if the team is going to get on the point, you have a vantage point of shooting and discording and and harmonizing with your team here. Now, this is the first time where I've noticed that Harmony is staying on Soldier when he's now finished healing, so you want to rotate where this orb goes.
Right behind you is Hanzo. He's really low.
Okay,
Right behind
Yeah, right behind,
Hey,
right behind.
Torb, get down here.
you. Oh, they flanked.
Okay, you're right there.
If you can res me up there, yeah.
Wait, should
She should never have to. You should never ask them to res you when you're in a meta where it's not instant, it takes a while, and you've just lost 2 people. When it's this risky for her to do this, and you're down to 1 healer. I mean, maybe this is just me, but
he
we'll
has
see.
ult? Well,
We're on our way back.
Because you're not actually contesting anything. Now, here's the other thing, too, is, like, your team's not getting any value from your entire kit here. And the Hanzo's, like, zoning you out. So after you get res, you're better off moving to the entire left side and playing around this pillar. Or going over and down and playing around the corner down here. And or the small room. And jumping down. Or you just need to, like, stop trying to pressure a location where likely the Hanzo just scattered you. There's a good chance he's already got the Sonic that knows where you're moving. So you just need to move all the way around and down on the other side. You stay here for like so long after you get res. You fight.
We're on our way back.
Look at.
Wait, she
Let's
already
see
has
how many
ult.
people you can see. All right, so in your vantage point here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, potentially 6, because I think Moira's damaging and healing somebody down there. You are a sitting duck after this res. You need to be like sprinting into this small room and running away. Because every single thing on the screen can kill you faster than you can kill them. Unless you have a peek, unless you're peeking into this position with a volley, you're dead, man. Like you are so limited in your movement on Zenyatta. There's no reason you should ever be playing an aggressive position like this.
Actually.
So here,
Alright,
here's
I'm gonna switch
duel
your natural
with Zen.
DPS now. What's their team comp? Actually.
All right, so both of you are doing this. Watch how many times you jump in this fight. All right, here we go. Ready?
Alright, I'm gonna switch your
1,
natural DPS now.
2, 3,
What's their
4,
team comp?
5,
Actually.
6,
I would
7.
switch.
Even after the fight's over, you're stumping. Jumping on Zenyatta is so detrimental because your hitbox is awful on this hero. Not just like because of how you're playing. Like Zenyatta's hitbox sucks. So in this play, you should be using the control button and not your space button in order to duck when he's trying to hit you with headshots. And moving left to right in the duel,
Alright, I'm gonna
it
switch your
will help you
natural DPS now.
prioritize because look what happens. And your crosshair isn't moving. It's staying here. So what happens is when you jump, it makes it much more difficult to hit.
Actually,
I'm going to go
I'm gonna
back
switch-
and slow this down. Maybe you can see that.
alright, I'm gonna switch your natural DPS now. What's their team
sorry,
comp?
let's double
Actually.
All right, let's turn this down. Let's just mute the game and watch this duel. Okay, from slow motion, watch. There's the jump. There's another jump. So it looks like every shot you hit was when you're not jumping as well. So you are on your way down from the jump, predictable movement, and that's when you're hitting, is when you hit the ground. So what you need to do is practice more left-right movement and less movement like up and down because it's so easy. And then I will say that there's another thing you want to do as Zen is making sure your approaches are left and right and not forward and backwards because you're kind of like going in and out and around like this. When you have a pinpoint movement like this where you're like front facing like that, if you move this way, it's difficult for him to hit you. If you're moving this way, you're actually lowering you're increasing the hitbox size to get towards somebody in order to make your shots more accurate as well. When you should just be moving left to right and adjusting your crosshair for your movement, if that makes sense. So like if I'm moving left, I'm moving my crosshair right. You know what I mean? Like we're doing this movement with our mouse going left and going right. Okay. It's just minor stuff here, but this can improve your dueling capability. And also you could, last thing here on just how to duel is once you see the Zen, you just start dueling him. Watch. There's no cover for him at all. Whereas you have this this area over here that you can like, here, the area over here, you can actually go over here. As you leave, you can throw like one orb where he's limited. If he's trying to keep vision of you and you're throwing orbs where he has to chase you, you're basically throwing a delayed shot. It's almost like, think about it like you're running around a corner and throwing a snowball. And if they're chasing you, you're hitting them. Because the only way for them to follow you is by getting hit. And you don't even have to expose yourself outside. You just have to hug this corner on this side and start charging like 1-2 shots on your volley, 2-3 shots on your volley, peek the corner and volley him and he's dead. And this duel is instant. Furthermore, if you would have moved sooner, you could actually have killed this guy on his way in instead of putting yourself in jeopardy with the entire enemy team outside. And you could have gotten to your Orisa and potentially saved her faster. All right, so you got killed because you dropped on point. You don't have any allies, so there's nothing to see here, okay? Skip ahead. All right, now this is where we're going to see something that I wanted to cover. I'm presuming here, based off of how you performed with Zenyatta the rest of the game, that you do this with your mouse. You click your left click to do your primary fire, and you hold it. Let's see. Click and hold. Dum 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 dum. And then like let go to throw an orb, right? You're just throwing orbs into a shield. When you do that, if his shield's up, bum 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 bum, that's okay. Totally okay. But like, think about this if you were McCree. Like, and you're shooting, trying to kill something, and you're throwing the orb, you're missing like every shot. There is no value in missing a shot. So what you need to do is try to learn that cadence of what you click and hold, how fast you can shoot, and try to aim each shot at about that same pace and then individually click. If you're not individually clicking, you're going to basically be putting yourself at a disadvantage because you're basically aiming or leading shots that you don't know when they're actually coming because you're just going like clicking and holding down and hopefully something hits. You want to click and try to aim and lead each shot and make them count rather than just spamming a shield when there's no shield to be spammed. Okay, finally, we're in the fight. So we need to go back and see when we approach with our orbs, okay? So you do a good job at putting an orb on somebody right away. You put an orb on them and it already has disappeared. So you put it on Cookie. And you have something on the Diva. Good. Diva goes out of line of sight. Okay, so uptime here is pretty good. Again, too much jumping. All right. Good team fight. Cookie carried you. You got double with the attack visor and killed one before. Skip ahead to the next fight here. Also, you're playing in a very aggressive position around this shield. It's really, really far forward. You should just be hugging stuff and, again, stop jumping. Try to hug corners. Dueling Junkrat inside of an enclosed area is a fool's game. He is going to win that fight 100% of the time if they know what they're doing. All right. So we use the Transcendence. Wow, that's really bright. We use the Transcendence. Did we get value from it? Or did we deny and did we win a fight because of it? Did we get value? Yes, we healed people. Did we use it in the middle of a team fight when an ultimate was on the enemy team was used, and therefore trading? Yes and no. Because you didn't actually trade for the Dragon. The Dragon Strike didn't hit anything. They used more than one ultimate, as you can see here. Moira burns her ultimate and gets the Urfera. But what happens here that I want to highlight is the second you hit Transcendence, you have a healing orb on Mercy, which is fine, especially if she goes out of your range. But when you Transcendence, if something is not in your line of sight that is discorded, that's a problem for me. There needs to be a discord out before you Transcendence. It's okay for that target to die when you're in Transcendence with the orb on them, but you're not winning that fight if your discord's out. Discord is the most powerful thing about your kit, basically giving you your team a permanent 20% damage boost on anything, any one target. So make sure your discord's out before you trance, and you trance as soon as Hanzo says anything and not when the dragon shows up, for starters. Second, you're not winning this fight because of the Transcendence. Moira just killed your Pharah. Additionally, I don't even know where she is. Where's your Pharah? All right, so she's here. Here, let's try to track her. Now she's dead because she's out of the line of sight of both your healers. That's something else for Outcast to work on, not on you. But I will say that if possible, he should have been near you, and you should have been able to get your orb on him. All right, and your Orisa went down really early here, I think, in the fight. Again, why are you here? How did we get here? Right? We use Transcendence. You have a long time for Transcendence. And instead of backing up, you're engaging right next to a Reinhardt where he can just swing and hit you twice and you're toast. Probably once because you're in the middle of the entire team. They fire that Diva Bomb, so you survive. But what could have happened is you could have backed up, or Orisa could have put her shield further forward. She's not getting heals either. So again, not playing your corners, jumping too much, way too aggressive positioning. You need to think of yourself as basically a little glass unicorn. And you can die at anything. This is not my computer. This is our VOD review here. So let's skip out here. I would say what you want to do here. Oh shoot, I just realized I maximized the screen. Sorry. What I would say what I would like you to do is rewatch this VOD that you sent me yourself, and when you're playing Zen, I want you to look only at this part. And I want you to try to identify when it's okay, like when you're not in a fight and your team is topped off, that both of these are not out. That's okay. But when you're in fights and both of these aren't with like on something and Discord's not on something you are shooting, that's what you should practice. The other thing that you should be practicing beyond uptime is not putting yourself in a risky position to begin with, like this, dueling. Granted, Junkrat should have never been there, but you're completely split from your team in order to get a pick instead of going near them. Zenyatta doesn't have to be close to people to kill stuff. You know what I mean? Zenyatta has 0 damage fall off and insane damage. You don't have to be that close to these targets to be killing them. You should be about 10 to 15 meters away from your tanks at all times. By a corner and or by a barrier. Now this VOD review is getting a little long, so I think it's actually okay for us to conclude our Zenyatta analysis here, and we're going to skip ahead to your Lucio game. And you're going to see a lot of the same thing. So Lucio's goals are basically being the central force of your team, behind tanks and enabling targets with utility of moving faster and being hard to hit and playing aggressively. What happens is your Lucio play is more engaging on you trying to frag and playing as a DPS in the front line and engaging in front of the tanks. So let's watch this push. Watch. Now you're communicating here as like, let's go, let's go, let's go. So what happens? You boost, heal, and then you go in. You're the first one on the point. Your team has a pick, and you're putting yourself in a position where you can be very easily killed. Now it's okay because you're behind your teammates. This is good, but you should have been here to start with, and then you can use your boop in order to push teammates into your Reinhardt, or enemy team into your Reinhardt. So right here, there's no reason for you to be this far forward. Your team should be shooting them. Again, you're not near your tanks, and they just won a fight that you could have easily won. Luckily, your Ana is keeping everybody up, and your soldier is fragging. So you end up winning this fight and getting a tick. Or losing the fight and getting a tick, sorry. So next fight, you're playing here against a barrier and a Junkrat. It's a little slow. It's fine. Good stuff by your Reinhardt. Nearly killed her, but again, the team isn't pushing in with you. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. So what you need to be doing is sitting behind your team and making sure you are enabling them where they are instead of forcing them to move with you. Especially if you're playing in solo queue, not so much with the team. Like when you're with the team, you can tell them where to go and just wait for them to go and stay in the middle of them. And here you're spending an eternity with this Orisa after you guys just get a pick instead of staying on the point and enabling your team to cap it. You got 2 or 3 people that you could be winning this fight with, and you're down there trying to kill Orisa. A thing of note that I wrote down on that fight, the duel, was stop trying to take duels with Lucio, like 1v1, and try to force them in positions where you can duel them where your team is there. Because dueling and 1v1s are different. Like, you're doing a 1v1 duel, and that's not good, and you're using your boop a little bit too much on Orisa when she uses her golden form, which means she's not going to be zoned out by it. So you need to make sure your boop is not just a damage thing, but also utility of like placing people, like booping them up a little bit into a corner and then firing your 1, 2, 3, 4 into them so you don't miss a single shot. It's easy to line them up. The other thing that I'll note, we'll finish this VOD review after your first your beat drop here. You don't need to be here. You're just you and the Tracer out front against a damage boosted soldier is just not smart. Just stay with your Rhine. That's a good spot here. Moving the cart, doing your thing. All right. What do we beat dropping for? Are we beat dropping in response to an Orisa ult? Because what you should be doing is using the beat drop to enable the team to be blocking damage when they are currently low, so that you and your Ana have a chance to catch up health bars that have dropped by replenishing them. Because how beat drop is going to work is you're going to drop a ton of health, and then beat drop's going to land, and you're going to get a huge shield for your team. And you and Ana's healing is not going to be healing the shield. It's going to be healing the bottom line. So you need to be doing beat drop once you start taking significant portions of damage, not when Orisa does her thing. You also want to use it in response to this soldier's ultimate. In reality, he just ripped through you because beat drop was dropped way too early, and you were the only person 1v6 fighting. So again, there's like 3 or 4 things here. So when you use your sound barrier, your beat drop, it can be used aggressively, but more often than not, it should be used like mid-fight and or like once you get in, like let's say you speed burst, you get in there, you start fighting, and the second you start fighting, people start taking damage, then you can beat drop. Especially against Sombras, she can counter it. You want to do beat drop more like Zenyatta's Transcendence so that you can win the fight because of you using your ultimate rather than using it so that you can get into the fight. If that makes sense. And if they're going to drop the Orisa ult there, when they drop the Orisa ult, you're really close to capping the point, right? So there is no point in which you need to beat drop, because what's going to happen is right when you drop the beat and get in there, you have 4 meters to go. 5 meters to go to put the cart on the point. So they're going to burn 2 ultimates for your 1, and they're going to win the fight. Even though you've already got the point here 5 seconds later, 10 seconds later, whatever. So what could have happened is you could have not traded 2 for 1. You could have traded their 2 ults for none of yours, push the cart 5 meters, and just taken a team wipe and just build your ultimate while they lose theirs, because this is an ult economy fight right here. Like, they're positioned off the point. They can't even contest. You just need to kill stuff that contests the cart. And then you've got an eternity to start pushing in after that. So then you can save your ults. Does that make sense? All right. So I think that's going to do it. Lucio's definitely not my strongest hero, but I think that's something that you want to take advantage of at least a little bit, and focusing a little bit more on your ult and playing further back and enabling your team rather than enabling yourself. That's how you want to start playing Lucio. And using swapping songs in order to have more mobility on the sides and playing a little safer. You can play really far back because, again, Lucio has the slow-moving, like, warbly sound quad shot thing. And those don't have damage fall-off either. They just don't do a whole lot of damage to begin with. So don't worry too much about doing it in the face. And use your boop to space people off of the cart and off of the objective and into your team. That's what you want to use your boop for. All right, this is a super long VOD review. Hopefully I can get this up to you. And thanks so much for sending this in. I hope that we can do more of this in the future. And good luck in your games, and good luck on your way through the ladder. Bye.